I'm going to show you how you can learn auto layout in these 3 easy steps. You have to first understand what is auto layout. So what does it do? Its properties. Okay, so over here I've got an example of an object and a text. Once you place this into an auto layout, what it does is that it wraps itself into a frame or box. I'm going to press Shift A, which is the shortcut for auto layout, and it creates a box around the object. Now you can't see in the box, that's because I haven't added a fill color to it. So I go to the right hand side, I'm going to add a fill. I'll change the color slightly so you'll be able to see the box. Alright, likewise with the text, I've got a text object here. I press Shift A, immediately it creates a box for the text to sit inside. And likewise, I will show you using a fill color like so. That's what auto layout does. It takes an object and puts it into a box. Now obviously this box or this frame has different alignment features that comes with it. So for example, I've got this box over here. On the right hand side panel, you'll see this where I can change the alignment, so I can get it to align top left, top center, top right, middle, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it has some basic alignment features which are great, okay, for positioning items within the box. Next, the frame comes with padding. So if you click on this auto layout frame and you move your mouse towards the sides, you'll see this shaded blue area, and this is what is also known as a padding. Alright, this padding can be adjusted on the right hand side panel, so you can just put in a number you like, say 10 for example, and you get a larger padding. Basically padding is just spacing, so you can drag this slider to adjust the padding itself for both horizontal as well as vertical alignments. Now of course, if you have multiple objects, in this case you got 2 text objects, right? If you look on the right hand side panel, you can see there's a frame encasing 2 objects over here. Now once you have more than one object, it then allows you to control the spacing or the gap between the objects, so you can use the slider to adjust the gap like so. Layout has additional properties that affect both the frame as well as the content. So we're going to start exploring some of these properties. Now, the first one would be fixed size. When I select the frame, if you look on the right hand side under the frame section, you see that it's currently set to fixed. When that happens, it means that you can actually resize it and it would stay with that size. You can even type in the sizes that you like to determine the size of the frame, that you can set this to any size you like. Now the next part would be hard contents. Now what hard content means is that the outside frame would be set to hug the internal contents, like in this case the text. So if I click on this, you can see on the right hand side it's set to hug for both the horizontal as well as the vertical sizes, and it's doing its best to hug the text, the boundaries, which are the padding, okay, which has 10 pixels all around it. If I were to kind of increase the text, the frame would increase along with it because it's attempting to hug the text. Now you can have the object inside fill up the empty space within the frame. So a good example is this. If I select the frame, you can see that it's set to fix on the horizontal. That's the widest width it can go to, but the height is set to hug the content. If the content is shorter, in this case, if I were to reduce some of this content by removing some of the text, you can see it will attempt to resize along with the amount of text that's inside. Now I want to bring to your attention these settings that you can do to the inside of the frame. So if I were to select the text, it has its own properties. So obviously this is set to fill on the width, and that's why you see that it's set to fill up the container. Can you see if I increase the text, it will fill up the width of the container, simply because the outside is set to fixed. So moving on to the next part, which would be auto layout using multiple objects. You can actually do something like this. Okay, so when you have multiple objects, you can set this, for example, from a vertical layout to a horizontal layout, and it will resize accordingly. So you can stack objects horizontally or vertically. Okay, this is very useful in certain cases. These are just some random squares that I've created. So I'm going to show you how you can do this. What you want to do is you want to select all of these objects, Shift A, put them into auto layout, and then you can activate vertical layout or horizontal layout. So it's quite easy to actually do. Now the last one over here is a new function that Figma just released. It's called the wrap. Okay, what wrap does is that when you attempt to reduce the size of the frame, it will attempt to wrap into size. If you have a smaller size, it will attempt to kind of wrap itself within that. It's fantastic for resizing, and it's a very useful feature to have. Now all you have to do is just select this and then select wrap. So you can actually close in the frame and you attempt to wrap it. Now not only that, you can actually set the spacing in between to be automatic. It will try to divide up the spacing in between and give you whatever's remaining. So it's a very handy tool to give you consistent spacing all the time, just by setting these two commands, wrap and set it to auto. Lastly, how do you use auto layout in web design? One of the examples is to create a button, a simple button using auto layout. So this is a fully finished example that I have over here, and all you need is a text. You need to apply auto layout to that. So Shift A, okay, put in the fill color. So I'm going to plus. Okay, I'm going to copy the color using the eyedropper, which is I. I can click on this button here. All right, and you can then drag this out to make it the same size if you like. So it's a fixed size. It's hugging the vertical. And if you want to, you can add some corner radius. I'm going to put 8. And there you go. You can create a very simple button. Now, if you want to do something a bit more complicated, so you can create like a simple modal like this, you can create this completely using auto layout. Now, in this example, there are two additional functions. One is nesting. Nesting means that you are trying to have auto layouts within auto layouts. So you're kind of grouping multiple groups together. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So I've got these items here. So I've got some text paragraph, I've got a text title, and I've got the close button. And I've got the button that I've created earlier. So I'm going to move this down here. So I'm going to put them all together. I'm going to select all of this and hit the Shift A button. What this does is that it automatically creates an auto layout with vertical stacking. So obviously not horizontal, but vertical layout stacking. Okay, and you can see it has, the modal has this extra border all around it. So I'm going to go in there and increase the padding. So I'm going to put 10 and 10. It looks like nothing has happened. That's because I need to add in a fill color. So I'm going to put in the fill. I'm going to use the eyedropper and pick the color. So I've got something like this. If you feel that the padding needs to be bigger, you can just increase it. I'm going to put 20 and 20, for example. Put in some corner radius as well. Okay, so there you go. You can have a very simple modal set up very quickly using auto layout, and the sizing between them, you can then make it very uniformly. So it's like 24 spacing between the elements. You may ask, what happens if I want a smaller spacing here between the text and a larger spacing between the buttons? You can go into the auto layout frame, double click, hold shift to select multiple objects within the group, and then you can hit auto layout one more time. Okay, so Shift A. So now this has its own spacing. I'm going to make this say 4. Obviously this is going to be very small, but then on the outer grouping it has this additional spacing that I can increase. So let's say 42. There you go. You can have different spacing because you have nested components within an auto layout. Next, we're going to set up the properties within the auto layout frames. It means that when I increase the frame, I want the items inside to kind of match that, or to fill up the empty gaps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the frame. I'm going to set it to fill container, and automatically the frame expands to fill up whatever size this container is. However, the text isn't filling up yet. Now, because I've placed them into its own separate auto layout group, I have to double click into it to be able to access the internal frame. I'm going to set this to fill container, and automatically it resizes. Now, just to be safe, I'll select the header and set that to fill container as well. Okay, just in case if I have a larger header. And lastly, I'll select the button, and same thing, I'll set this to fill container. So what happens is that right now, as I scale, this modal has become very responsive, so I can make it to fit whatever size I like. Next, I want to add a close button over here. Now, in order to do that, I'll need to use an additional command called absolute, and I need to use constraints. The first thing I want to do is drop this icon into the auto layout frame. Automatically, it will be positioned on the top. That's because of the way auto layout works. Okay, it's going to give it spacing, the exact same spacing I've set here, because it consists of 1, 2, and 3 elements. Now, what I'm going to do is select the icon on the right hand side panel. I'm going to click on absolute position. This is going to ignore all the auto layout settings, and I'm going to drag this all the way to the right hand side here. Right now you'll see there's these 2 blue dotted lines. So these are constraints. So I'm going to set this instead of the left hand side, align to the left hand side, I'm going to set this to right. So I'm going to get it to align to the right hand side, and it's already aligned to the top, so I'm going to leave that where it is. Now, why am I doing that? Is because when I resize it, can you see it will stay on the top right hand corner? Okay, so there you go, you got a nice responsive auto layout. You can see the top or the vertical section isn't working as I make it smaller, so I'm going to fix this by changing this to hard contents. And when I do that, the spacing or the padding all around would respect the items inside. So whatever size I make it out to be, it will contain within the container itself. Alright, so there you go. That's all for auto layout.